Pigtronix Space Rip.
Spaceship Rip.
Space Rip ship. Space Rip ship, take one. Hey everybody, it's Jake here at Open Chord Music for another installment of Axe Talk. And today we're talking about a very, very cool pedal that I'm just now getting myself introduced to, the Space Rip from Pigtronix. Pigtronix is definitely well known for some of their more non-conventional pedals, like the famous one is the Mothership synth, definitely a very, very cool guitar synth pedal. But now we've got the Space Rip, which is a very, very cool guitar synth that they've introduced that is in a much smaller package. Definitely an interesting thing for sure, and can kind of transform a guitar, a regular old 6-string guitar that sounds like this, into the ultimate Parliament Funkadelic Bernie Worrell bass synthesizer tone. Wow, that's just way, way, way too much fun. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. I'm just now getting myself kind of acquainted with this, so we're gonna kind of learn how the whole thing works a little bit together here on this. So yeah, today playing through D'Angelico, Supro Keeley, very cool stuff. We do have a TC Electronic Hall of Fame reverb going through the effects loop of the Keeley, just to give us a little bit of extra ambience on top of this thing. But yeah, let's just kind of see what we can cook up with the Space Rip here. All right. Clean tone. Super, super cool stuff. So what I'm realizing pretty quickly is that it is a pretty monophonic pedal. So it's meaning that the tracking on this really can only really handle one note at a time, though it can be really fun to take advantage of the monophonic tracking by, well, playing chords and creating weird textures that doesn't quite get the same effect as, say, major chord. You know, kind of turns it into a little bit of mush, but it's still texture, it's still music, it's still something that we can use for all kinds of cool things. So let's just get into it a little bit here. So let's see what happens if we turn this tune down. And I'm just gonna kind of sweep across that a little bit with just So if I'm not mistaken, I think what that's doing is it's essentially, it's tuning almost like another frequency against your guitar sound. By the way, I've got the mix knob almost up all the way. You can make it where you've got your clean tone in there too. Which is cool, but for our purposes, I want to just totally transform our guitar into a completely different instrument. So let's just see what happens here. So super cool stuff. Let's see what happens if we start to mess with the sub knob. Okay, so that brings in an octave below. So here we are back at regular guitar pitch. Now if we hit this knob, or this button rather, that will take the whole thing down an octave. So we're starting to get into that very Parliament Funkadelic, Bernie Worrell, Talking Heads kind of weird synth sound kind of thing. See what happens when we change the shape. Got a little bit of waveform shape. Man, really, really wild sounding stuff. Now, if we've already got that octave switch on and we start bringing in the sub, it's like indiscernible, crazy 2 octave down sound. And it sounds like the rate, I believe, is just affecting like the oscillation of the synth itself. So how many times it's pulsating with modulate. Really, really wild sounding stuff. I'm gonna kind of, let's see, let's just take it. Super, super, super cool. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. That's super, super awesome stuff. If you're looking for something to just absolutely, pretty much transform your guitar into a crazy Moog synthesizer on crack, then that is the perfect thing for you. You would absolutely love the Space Rip. So be sure to check it out. And be sure to check us out, Open Chord Music. You can check us out at openchordmusic.com. You can find all of our stuff on there. And be sure to keep checking out Pigtronix, D'Angelico guitars, Supro amps, wonderful stuff. Thanks a lot, y'all. We'll see you next time. Sweet. That was fun. Yeah, it sounds fucking crazy as shit. Yeah, that thing is wild. It's pretty inspiring, honestly. I mean, it's like a lot of the same shit that I was playing. If I was just playing it on regular guitar, it would just sound like, I don't know, just regular old rock guitar stuff. But that's cool. Is there coffee in the pot? Hell yeah, man.